I can't tell about dogs.
Hello, this is GB1 Gaming and welcome to my channel. In this episode I'll be building the ultimate gaming PC. And by me, I mean my son Ulf is going to teach me how. Okay, so I need a computer I could game on, live stream and run music and video production software without spending a fortune. And with that in mind, here's Ulf with the parts he ordered for this build.
Started with an MSI B550 gaming carbon. We went with this board because it's got the PCI Gen 4 support, so we want the future proofing for, say, the new RTX cards that are coming out later this year, or the next generation Ryzen, were it to be something that we wanted to look at down the line. Moving on from that board, we then have the Ryzen 5. This is the Ryzen 5 3600. We decided with the 3600, not the 3600X or XT, due to the marginal improvements that come with those two processors. This seemed like the best option for our budget as well as our actual use case. Also, given that we have adequate cooling through the rest of our setup here, as you can see, this processor will definitely run a stable overclock in this setup quite comfortably, and it will be competitive against the X or XT off the shelf. For system memory, we've got 32 gigs of HyperX Fury. This is the stock clock on these is 3200. We're probably going to crank it up to 36 with XMP. The 3200 speed off the shelf, it's obviously recommended for this Ryzen 5 platform, and these have decent heat spreaders on them. They're Kingston. They will be able to overclock quite nicely. So yeah, they're RGB as well for that dank extra points. So we're then going with an RTX 2070 Super. We wanted to make sure that we can get the maximum performance in a 4K game setting without compromising our budget at all. So this MSI Ventus option was something that was rather appealing, as it had a good dual fan cooling system, and it was much more competitively marketed, as we were not including things such as ridiculous RGB features on the actual card itself. We have a lot more other display related features in the case otherwise. HD 60 Pro. We want to be capturing lots of games, and we'll be setting that all up with OBS, and you'll be seeing lots of content from us through that. 8 terabit Seagate Barracuda. This is a wonderful drive, needed for bulk storage. The 240 gig M.2. 2 terabit Crucial BX500 for game storage. Extra USB ports. We got an amazing deal from our local distributor Enwave. They're selling this GK30 keyboard and this DS502 headset by MSI. Usually this package would come out at 220 Australian rupees, but today we were able to pick these up for 129. It was an amazing special. So thank you Enwave for that. So for cooling, we've gone with a full set of Deepcool CF123 case fans and the 240mm rad. The XTC 600 by Cougar, and some Cooler Master braided extensions in black and white. And finally, our case is the MSI Mag Vampiric. Our monitor is the Samsung UR28. It's a wonderful budget 4K monitor option with FreeSync, which is fantastic. We've got the DisplayPort cable there, obviously, to match that. And our mousepad is the HP Omen Gaming Extreme.
Okay, that's what's going into this rig, but now for the real fun. Unboxing and putting all the parts together. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
As always, to start off any build, you start off with your motherboard. Our lovely B550 MSI gaming carbon Wi-Fi. Whoa, look at that. is the Ryzen 5 3600. Great little chip. This is a 6-core chip. The stock core of 3.6 gigahertz and it boosts up to 4.2 from the factory. So a wonderful chip by AMD, good price range, and it's got the stock cooler here. I believe this is the Wraith Spire cooler. This is the non-RGB cooler. It's the thinner cooler.
A few inches later.
It's still an AMD chip. You want to be very careful because the AMD chips has pins on the bottom. The Intel chips have pins in the socket. So the two operate slightly differently, but it's not that much different. So you just want to slide back this retention on, and then lift it up like this. You'll see the socket slide over. And now on the socket, you'll see an arrow. On this board, it is on this top corner over here. And what we want to do is we want to take that arrow and line it up with our processor.
12 seconds later.
Be able to drop it straight in and you'll feel it drop straight in. Do a little wobble just to make sure that it's in place. Don't wobble it too much though, because if it isn't in place, you'll damage the chip. We just want to take this retention arm down and put it to the side. Now at this stage I'm going to go ahead and take off these stock mounting brackets. These will be used for our air cooler, but for the stock fan they are not needed.
2,000 years later.
This is a Western Digital Green 240 gig M.2. It's not NVMe, it's just SATA. It's just for our Windows install. This is perfectly reasonable. We don't need NVMe storage. Wonderful MSI shot. And here she is, the RTX 2070 Super. And this is a hefty card right here. This is a wonderful piece of good performance. Bam. So there's our main components of the system. We've got a drive to run Windows. We've got a motherboard. We've got our system memory.
3 days later. Many months later.
That's a fucking nice monitor, dude.
Day 2, day 3, day 4. later. 2 hours later. 3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Several bad puns later.
Now that the actual build is done, it's time to switch it on and see if it works. That's all for now. Thanks for joining and I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll put a full list of the parts we used in the description below. Thanks to my son Ulf, he did a great job with this PC. I don't think he's got a gaming profile on social media, but if he does, I'll drop a link in the description. Feel free to leave a comment below. Stay safe and see you next time. Peace! Feel free to leave a drop. Feel free to leave a comment in the description.